Hello everyone, it's Natalia, live from Canada. Can you even believe it? It's been lovely. For those of you who are new to my world, I'm a life and business strategist and co-creator of LUXE Club Retreats. And I have to say that I am stepping into a very exciting season. It's my birthday that's coming up. I'm getting married this year. And it has been a wild ride since here and since today. And I have to say that one of the things that I've been reflecting on and so lucky to be doing is connecting with people that I've known for 25 plus years. And we start to think about our journey here and, you know, our plans and our goals and our dreams from when we were young to now. And it's really beautiful. And I think about the journey from LUXE Club Retreats. You know, LUXE Club Retreats was created. LUXE stands for limitless abundance, unconditional love, expanded senses, and extraordinary experiences. But a huge part of that is philanthropy, and it's thinking about what's the legacy that we want to leave. And, you know, instead of gifts this year, I really got to talking to one of my amazing good friends who I've known for years. She's also a club expert at LUXE Club Retreats. She's also a co-creator of the Luminary Path at LUXE Club Retreats. But more importantly, she is the founder of LETS. And I'm going to tell you a bit about LETS because I'm going to actually bring Kristin on and you're going to get to meet her because we have a big audacious goal. I have been hearing about her journey with LETS for so long, and we have a call. And so for this year, for birthday, for wedding, for everything, the way that I want to create legacy, the way that I want to create impact, and I know that everyone in my circle of the people who are watching want this too. They resonate with this deeply. And so this is a calling to you. And so I'm just going to bring Kristin on. Before we come on, let's see, Kristin, let me know if you are going to request to join. But in the meantime, this is going to be a movement, okay? You get to be a part of something that is going to change lives. And here she is. But if your LETS was always created to end human trafficking, child poverty, and abuse. And so there she is. Hi.
Hello.
I was just
Hi.
about to like go into LETS and be like, you know what? But I'm
You
just
know what? We can,
divine timing, because it always sounds better from you, Kristin, because this has been such a huge part of your life's work.
And I am so
It has.
grateful that I have got to experience just even a glimpse of what you've been doing over the last 12 years, is it now?
13. Yeah.
13, 13 years. So, for those of us who are in my audience and who may not know you, Kristin, like, why don't you just give a little bit of background into who you are, how you got here, what LUXE, how you created LUXE, and what it is.
Okay. Well, first off, I started out as a transformative healing arts gal. That's where I've been 36 plus years in my career. Massage therapy, energy medicine, energy psychology, nutrition, health, really the whole gamut, which Wellness 360 you get, right? That's we connect on that as well. But I started out really in the transformative space. And throughout my own personal journey and through healing of my own self, I felt this call. I felt it a very inspired call to be in Haiti. And I actually went over to have to be an educator there. So we were educating people on their bodies and the laws of health. And I began bumping into orphanages at every corner. There was a lot going on, and there was a large earthquake in 2010, and so a lot of parents were killed, and so there were a lot of orphanages popped up in order to help protect the children. Um, but there was a lot of challenges within that as well. So when I came over there in 2012, I started to just, amongst the wreckage, amongst all of the things, I began to see the need for education around menstrual cycles, fertility, that type of thing. So I took all of my years of experience, 20 plus years of experience in the healing arts, and I brought that into Haiti. And then I brought it into these orphanages with these beautiful children that I fell in love with. My first orphanage that I was really connected to only had 15 children, and I became very, very close. I would go out every month to 6 weeks and bring oils and health and education and tools and just learning the culture, learning the people. And it was several years in between, I don't know, 3 years, probably somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 years, that I discovered that 4 out of 5 of these children had living parents. And then I began to see that trend where I was thinking it was earthquake related. It was actually called childhood poverty orphanage. And so I started getting to know the women and getting to know the community because I was out there doing healing arts things out there. And I realized that the women were having more than 15 or 16 children oftentimes. That was not uncommon. And there were 85% of the population didn't have jobs. So at least consistent work. And so when you look at trafficking, I started to be very inspired in connecting some of the dots at what are the demographics of consistently across the board, what are the demographics of trafficked children? And poverty is it is the number one indicator. Usually single families, mother raised children who are below poverty level and don't have opportunities for school or education or familial support. And um, oftentimes already having a background of abuse. So I started thinking, what if the solution could go back? What is the root cause? Because there's these three aspects in trafficking, poverty, and abuse. And that is the prevention. What is the preventative side? What can we do? What is the actual rescue aspect? And what is the restoration side? And what I learned is that it's not a line, it's a circle. The same kids who were trying to prevent these things and protect are oftentimes have gone through the whole cycle and have ended up back in the same situation. So I was very prayerful, actually, very meditative, and I just said, what if we could find the actual root cause? And a simple idea came to my mind. It was a bracelet. I thought, what if we could train women to be in tune with their bodies, and that we could use the power of a woman's menstrual cycle to disrupt the powerful cycles of trafficking, poverty, and abuse? What if women were that powerful? And we know that they are. And so I commissioned a bracelet. This is not the first version. We have multiple versions of this bracelet to help a woman track her menstrual cycle. And what's very powerful about it is a woman doesn't have to have an app. She doesn't have to have even a piece of paper, because that wasn't the reality I was in. I needed something tangible that they could see and feel every day. So there's a charm. We have different colors of bracelets. These ones are actually made in Colombia out of acai. They're so beautiful. Anyway, on the
And
first day of the
they're all handmade, aren't they?
they're all handmade by artisans. In fact, the bracelet designs we have, the first one we commissioned were women picking up trash. We provided jobs for between 30 and 50 women. They would pick trash up and then they would cut the trash in all of the different colors, whether it was cereal boxes or hair extension cards or whatever they could find. And the women would cut it like a croissant and roll it, and they would make beads. And then I would have them make it in the order of a woman's menstrual cycle. The second edition of that bracelet was important because those weren't waterproof, and women are in the rain and they're washing clothes in the waters and things like that, and they were falling apart. So it took us about a year and a half to find a native seed to Haiti, which was a majoc, and we now have acres of land with our farmers and agronomists that grow. We've also added food forests within. So we're companion cropping to help feed our staff. And we have artisans who then take the bracelets. We separate them into colors, the beads, and then they make the bracelets. And then we added one, of course, with an essential oil bead on the ovulation day, just so we can have our oils as part of it, you know. But this one's from Colombia. Each country that we launch into, we want a uniquely cultural bracelet that they design. And so this is that. And what a woman gets to do, both here in developed countries and developing countries, is first day of a woman's cycle, there's a red bead and she puts the charm here. And each day she moves the charm one bead. When the color of the bead changes, that becomes an indicator of most fertile days. And so this was such an easy way for a woman and her partner to know where she was. And we go a little deeper. We talk about the fluids that the body makes. We talk about other indicators, because every body is unique. And we want everyone to be able to be in tune with their cycles. We teach about cycles and seasons. We talk about and help women embody who they are in each phase of the cycle, so that they can really honor the rhythms that they're in and create when it's time to create, and cocoon when it's time to cocoon, right? So it's really beautiful. And it started, with this movement of a simple bracelet could actually be a connection with human trafficking, which was, to me, very novel idea.
I love it. And it reminds me of this book that I read by Zoe Chance. Um, Influence is Your Superpower. And we'll leave this for another episode, this story, but it was around the power of the question, like asking the question, what would it take? What would it take to end child abuse in Haiti? What would it take to end child trafficking in Haiti? And I think that's like where you started. And it's just so, I mean, I hope everyone's hearing right now. I mean, I want you guys to give Kristin some love here, because she, if you hear how she was describing the bracelets, how she got to Haiti, the education, all the stuff that all the things that go into actually creating impact and change in an area like Haiti. It's phenomenal, Kristin. You are such a, I'm so blessed to have you in my circle, honestly, because you are, every time I hear you speak, I get so inspired and so just so moved. And I think that's the calling here. You know, when I'm like, I don't want birthday gifts, I don't want wedding presents, I want you guys to donate to Let's. Like that's my birthday wish, my wedding wish this year, because it's all about giving back and creating impact together. And I think what I wanted to say is that when we were talking about how do we make this even more impactful, and we said, what if we, remember we were chatting about, because I know how you love
Mhm.
gene keys, and I was like, what if we, like, what could we give back to people depending on what they donate, so that there is almost this legacy circle that we're creating between us now. So you've got, the circle that you described where you're really helping a woman, a family, a community, a world, right? Take the power back just by a simple bracelet that is hand designed, that brings employment to people that really, really need it. That changes the, and I'm getting a bit, well, it changes the vibration, it changes the frequency of that entire community. It gives a chance for people to now just get rid of that negative stuff that's happening there. And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert of what's going on in Haiti. I know you can speak a lot more to it. You've taken people there, you've taken people um, who have been very involved, I guess you could say, in the LUXE mission and vision. And I think when you look at the tiers that we've created, it's really beautiful. Do you want to speak to some of that? And that's that legacy circle that we've tied into this fun birthday giving circle.
Yeah, Natalia, I love you so much. I'm so grateful to have you in my life, because you also inspire me. And I think that that is really what it's about, is that this is a movement of awakening for each of us. It's not about just a dollar amount that goes somewhere that you don't even know where it's going. What I'm offering is my entire lifetime of encoded information and the creation of the legacy that we live every day. And so many times we want to do something about the things in the world that are painful to us, that scare us. I remember at the beginning, I have 7 children, and I was terrified my whole life because of my family history and background. I was afraid for my children. And I created a lot of fears around safety for my kids and for myself. And Haiti, what Haiti did for me is it helped me to grow. It helped me to mature into being a solution provider rather than someone who's just going to be like, I don't know what to do. How am I one person? How am I big enough to do anything about human trafficking? Like, how could I possibly help? I'm just going to gather my little babies around me and my grandchildren and nieces and nephews and the people that I love. I'm going to do that. But then I learned actually one person can make a difference to millions of people, or one. It's the one, and it's the whole. And so I I thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to share with your audience, with your friends, with your co-creators, something that they get to do that actually will create impact. Because these kids, I'm telling you that they, with what we're creating, with what Let's has given, and all of the logistical genius that it is, we are so organized. We have structures in place. We have 6 lessons we teach. We invest at least 8 to 9 touches into every student we have. We make sure we keep going back in 3 months, in year after year. We reassess where they are and are there questions. And it's a bigger vision. The vision just keeps expanding. It's expanded into Bangladesh, where each country has the same core issue, including the United States, Canada, and Europe, including Australia and New Zealand, South America. Everywhere I go, whether people are wealthy or whether people have absolutely nothing, it is the same core part of humanity: to be loved, to be able to have genius expressed, and to be seen and witnessed in who we are. And I want that for everybody. And it's also another thing that comes to mind is that when there is anybody on the planet who is impacted by these types of things, we are all impacted, whether we like it or not. And it's not everybody's responsibility to be out there on the ground like I chose to be. I was a calling. It taught me. I learned through it. I healed myself through it. I learned about poverty, and I learned about wealth, and I learned about prosperity, and I learned about what's coming in this new world we're all creating. And so I want to invite people in, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. But what I would love to do is, in this birthday package that you put together for yourself and your wedding, um, for me to be able to share the healing arts that I have 36 years and move that into this act of just gifting so that you actually know where your funds are going and what the impact is, and even open up doors where you can have some of that same legacy creation for yourself and some of the same healing that I've experienced that I can bring to you individually and collectively. And even if you wanted, there's opportunities that you could come with us to some of these places. Come with me to Bangladesh. Come into these situations where we have refugee camps over here, and in Colombia we have high prostitution, people coming in from all the countries. And um, there's so much going on in Colombia. There's so much going on in Peru. Every country has their own story. We've got 10 to 13-year-olds that are having babies in Peru. We've got trafficking and the US border, people coming through Guatemala. We've got in Haiti, we've got rest of it culture where these kids are in trafficking at sometimes 3 years old. And so it's really, I don't want to say it's fun to come in. It's not that heavy. I'm just sharing with you what we're there to prevent. And then you get to come in and be a part of making bracelets and growing things and seeing things on the ground. And then also learning about what is in these tears.
Yeah.
And the tears are really incredible. So anyway, it's such a heavy topic. I've had a hard time marketing, the prevention of human trafficking, poverty, and abuse. People are like, I don't know. But when you make it fun, or you make, like you make it meaningful, not necessarily fun. And then there's like this give back circle. Yeah. So last thing, Natalia, and then I can't wait to hear, and then we can talk about the tears if you want. But I felt hopeless. I felt like there was nothing I could do. And in my moment of inspiration, I was told to take one step at a time. And that's what I've done. And I have healed the fear within me and created something empowered for other people to learn from the fear that I used to have. And that's what all of us have. So I want to encourage you to really face the things, like be present. The shadows are our greatest gift. It's where we extract the wisdom. And the shadows are the challenges so that we can then use them to move us into our gifts and into our genius. And I want to share that with you guys. And Natalia and I put together 4 different tiers. So when you donate at these different level tiers, there's different growth opportunities for you as well to commingle and to co-create with us in this vision we have.
Yeah, and I think I love it, Kristen. Thank you. It's I think even with the tiers that we created, it was like the energy of gratitude. It's always it's this
Mhm.
give it's giving and receiving, and that's abundance as well. Where are you making decisions from? It's a place of infinity. It's a place of complete abundance, and it's gonna take a village to impact and
Mhm.
really create change. And the fact that you've been doing this for so long, and you started in Haiti, you've branched out to, you said, Guatemala, Colombia, Bangladesh, Peru, you know, and there's
South Africa,
South
Kenya,
Africa.
Uganda,
Thank you. I was like, I'm missing so
Dominican.
many places.
Yeah.
Can you hear this, everyone? Can you hear like the level of impact Kristen is having with just you said it. I always, I mean, I'm not the one who made this up, but through struggle, there is light. And I think
Hmm.
everyone who decides to either start a business or, or start to actually live on purpose and understand what their mission is and what they're here to do, um, that is so, isn't that what life is all about? Like,
Yeah.
it's, and when you can come together, and I mean, that's why it's, yeah, I don't know how else to say this, but I think you guys can feel it from how we're talking, and
Hmm.
everything that Chris and I do individually, and this is how we've attracted and come into each other's circles and worlds, but it's all from a place of giving back. It's all from a place of impact. It's all from a place of love. And, if you want to leave a legacy, it's gonna take a lot of love, and it's gonna take a lot of courage, and it's gonna take a lot of just standing up and knowing what you stand for, who you are. And if we look at the tiers, because like I said, we're gonna come back, and because it is a big topic, and I want to give you guys just little piecemeals of why I feel personally so passionate about it. I'm like, Kristen, I want to do this for my birthday. I want to do this for the wedding. Like, I want to do this. And we have a tall order team. Like, we are wanting to raise $25,000 by July 20th, 2025. Yes, this year. Yes, it's July 8th at the moment. And you know what? Like, if I feel like we can do it with all of us. And if you take a look, whether it's, I'm going to share the link somewhere around this video after the fact, but you can go and check it out. You can go learn more about LUXE. You can learn more about Kristen. You can learn more about me too, but you're here with me, so you probably have some exposure already. But there's um, for the for example, the first tier that we came up with, if you want to donate between 50 and $999, this is about, getting access to, Kristen's going to give you a live masterclass. She's going to talk about prosperity and stewardship. And, for us, and I think I'm going to, for us, it's really important to, Kristen talks about this a lot, prosperity and stewardship. And I talk about it a lot in terms of like wealth and wellness. Wealth isn't the money that's in your bank account. You know, prosperity, wealth, these are all words that we want to really explore and dive deep to and just uncover the meaning of it so that we can all get on the same page. And she's got this incredible um, perspective on this. Do you want to talk about the other tiers, or should we leave that till later? I'm not sure.
Well, I want to feed into that a little bit more
Feed in. Come
because
on.
we're going to give that some other energy. The key, the vision that I have, and the
Mm-hmm,
reason that we decided to do a master class is to pour into you, to
mm-hmm,
help you get into alignment with your own vision. And I do come from a background of human design and gene keys and fingerprint analysis and all of the techniques and all of the things that help give maps along the way for us. And so this masterclass is a wish of mine. This is the desire. This is part of my life purpose is to be able to help people get aligned and to feel like their legacy creation, their wealth, because wealth is also finances, but it's not finances alone. And I think in the world, we get so tied up in money. And money, we either have it or we don't. If we have it, we're afraid of losing it and we want to maintain it and we want the legacy for our families. If we don't have it, then we have this quest of making more and just surviving in the world. And it's a very low vibration sometimes. So, we want to talk about what is the difference between wealth and prosperity and how does philanthropy or giving of ourselves, because our core wound becomes the core healing, which then becomes the vocation and it becomes what we give. It's the wisdom. And so many of us never quite get there. We don't know how we fit into the greater picture of things. And so I am very well aware that my gift and my vision of Let's is not going to be for everyone. But what is for everyone is for you to awaken within yourself or expand. Some of you already know what that is. You've been doing personal development work for years, but this is beyond development. This is about embodiment, accepting, allowing, embodying your truest genetic design. And so while I can't give individual design on that first level tier, we're going to talk about it though, and you can find yourself in there. And then as we move to the second tier, we're going to have a very specific one that dives deeply into the individuality of this, and also the difference between divine intelligence and artificial intelligence. And this is a hot topic right now, and I want so much for every single person to have this. So I thought in these first two tiers, if people would, the second tier is going to be from 1,000 up to 5,000. And within there, we'll start having some personal, like a personal recording on your chart for you at those levels. And then as we move into the third and the fourth, we will do very specific, even day retreats and things of that nature. People who really want to work on their own embodiment, but also want to be a part of this solution that LUXE is, and that your money can become legacy for 50,000 plus dollar donations, $1 million donations, where you get to actually co-create with us in LUXE. And Natalia, you said it. This has been the this has been the learning curve for me, and that is that I took LUXE on as just an inspired idea, and then it grew so big and was so impactful and so effective that it's ready for a new iteration. And I'm welcoming in your genius to come in and bring that, any of you. And I carried Haiti alone. Bangladesh has donors, and Colombia has donors, and South America and the Spanish speaking communities. And I've been carrying that a lot. I have had massive donations from doTERRA International and others. I'm not saying I've done it alone, but it's time now to share and invite others in to be a part of that. So some of you are going to want to do that, and others of you are going to be like, I love what you're saying. I can use some of my money to go towards that, and I will feed you back. It is a circle. Yeah.
It's the legacy circle, and that's it's amazing. Kristin, you're amazing, and
Thank you.
for anyone who wants to kind of dive into this a little bit more, obviously message me directly. But I will, like I said, put a link around this video. DM me. Kristin is one of 5 of our philanthropic partners at LUXE Club Retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just an integral part of what we do. And so I'm always looking for opportunities and everyone else is looking for opportunities to be like, how can I be more? How can I do more? But it always comes from the being, doesn't it? And so we're really excited to invite you into this Ripple Effect series. It's, like I said, it's a big audacious goal, but that's what we're all here to do big audacious goals. And really hoping that you take the time to look at what we put together as this birthday circle, legacy circle fundraiser. And can't wait to see what the impact is. And we will be back. Do you want to say anything last words? Not last words, but like before we sign off.
Just, I want you guys for a minute to take a deep breath. Literally take a deep breath and tune into yourself and tune into the things that are yours to express. What is your perfect expression of love? Your perfect genetic encoded genius. Like, what is that? Because it's already who you are. And I want you to imagine what the world would look like, what your family would look like, what would your personal life look like if you were aligned, clear, magnified in all of the beautiful love. You had an equal measure of power and wisdom and love in your life. You felt grounded in that. You weren't letting the head or the emotions speak louder than the knowing. and imagine what we could create. I've got one little piece of the puzzle. What are you going to bring? And how does that feel in your body? And how can we together create a world that we all want to live in? A world that is in harmony, that is in peace. It is possible in our lifetime. And this is just one opportunity to become immersed in the field of love and light, and to be immersed in caring about these children and the lives, because they are the leaders of this next generation. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. As within, so without, as above, so below. Contemplate these things and let us know how you feel about them.
What a way to just bring this to a close.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, Kristin.
You're welcome. Love you
I'll see
so
you.
much.
We'll see you guys soon, and have a great rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Mwah. Besitos. Ciao.
Ciao.